What if you could design the perfect work search strategy? Well, let's imagine what this might look like, in theory at any rate, without constraints or prejudgments about what's actually possible, nor any concerns about the limitations of almost every conventional job hunt. You'd start off by discovering some lucrative employment opportunities that are perfectly suited to your talents and ambitions, and with high quality employers, of course. You totally eliminate all of the competition from other job hunters, and as the only person being considered for the position, you get personally introduced to influential company insiders, people who urgently need your particular skills and have the authority to employ you on the spot. You'd seize the immediate attention of hiring decision makers. You'd take charge of any kind of job interview, deliver a supremely effective and highly persuasive hiring pitch, then negotiate a top salary from a position of true power and strength. You be in complete control of every key decision and action you take during the entire job hunt, which would inevitably allow you to assert agency over every aspect of your working life going forward. Well, all of this describes not only the theory of a perfect job search, but the reality of my system, and you're about to learn how to do all of these things right here. This is day one of the 40-day job search. Hello, I'm Neil Grant, the person behind the Vocation Master training program, and I help you do better work. If you're looking for an employed position with a private sector organisation, you've come to the right place, because I'm going to show you how to transform your professional future by taking complete control of every part of your next job search. Everything you'll be learning in this tutorial series is taken from my complete job search masterclass. You'll find syllabus and enrolment details at my website, vocationmaster.com, where you can also gain immediate access to my free Job Interview Secrets video course. You get 3 hours of information, advice and action plans that go straight to the heart of my job interview strategy. I used to charge $99 for this short course, but I'm now making it available without any charge whatsoever to say thanks for showing interest in what I do and as an insight into how I work. If you want to nail any kind of job interview, you can't afford to miss out on this unique material. Just go to vocationmaster.com for free and immediate access. Alright, well, let's make a start with this. Job hunting can be tough at the best of times. If you follow the herd instinct by doing what nearly everyone else does, choosing to adopt conventional job hunting strategies, it's even tougher. In today's hyper-competitive employment market, this is particularly the case if you want to get hired by a reputable employer to do well-paid, secure and genuinely fulfilling work. For starters, there's massive competition for the best jobs, with hundreds of people applying for even quite ordinary positions. You've got to hope the right vacancy comes along at the right time, that you've got the right track record, and that your CV or resume stacks up in the right way. If things go wrong, if there are inconvenient gaps in your work history, for example, or you apply for a job that isn't a good fit, you face an uphill task when the screenings and checks kick in. With a bit of luck, you get invited to final interview, most of which are specifically designed to expose your failings and weaknesses. I'm sure you know the routine. But what if you could avoid all of these problems? No competition. No CVs or resumes. No worries about glitches in your background. No application forms, no screening meetings, and no standard job interviews. You remove all of the hassles and hurdles you usually get and take total control of any job hunt. That is the essence of what my work search training shows you how to do. If you're intrigued to learn about a radically different and hugely improved method of looking for work, you've come to the right place, because I'll be taking you through my alternative job hunting and interview system from start to finish. In today's tutorial, the first of the series, I'm going to introduce you to the overall concept and present the outline benefits of the transformational job search. But before I dive in, let me explain how I'm organising the content of the 40-day job search tutorials. I'll be releasing 4 short videos every week over the next 10 weeks, so that makes 40 in total. In week 1, that's right here and now, I cover the basics and explain how you'll benefit from implementing my system. In weeks 2 and 3, I'll go over some of the problems you're up against if you follow a conventional job search, why work isn't working for most of us, plus the damaging effects of burnout and how you can insulate yourself against every one of the problems I talk about. Then, in week 4, I move on to the action phase of the transformational job search, starting with the basics of presenting yourself as a truly compelling candidate. In week 5, I think about what any employer you want to work for needs to see and hear when you pitch yourself for a job. Then come some of the most important topics, beginning in week 6, when I tell you how to find lucrative work opportunities before anyone else has discovered them. In week 7, I explain how to make contact with company insiders who can advocate for you and how to engineer personal introductions to hiring decision makers. Designing and delivering perfect job interview pitches lies at the heart of my programme. These 2 activities are so important that I devote a total of 8 videos to them in weeks 8 and 9. And finally, in week 10, I suggest some advanced strategies that will supercharge your job search. So that's what the next 10 weeks of the 40-day job search looks like. Are you ready to discover how to transform your next job search and hire yourself a new employer? Well, let's begin then with the basics. Conventional job hunting, looking for a new job, is a regular event in almost every working person's life. On average, we change jobs 12 times in our career. So that means that we can expect to dust off our resumes or CVs every 3 or 4 years. For lots of people, it's much more often than that. Then comes the search for a suitable work opportunity, scouring the job boards and vacancy listings, sometimes taking a punt by making speculative approaches to employers. We become experts at filling in application forms, attending screening meetings and going through various employment pre-checks. If we're lucky, we receive an invitation to a final interview. All the while, we get to fight against hundreds of other people who are desperate to land the same job that we want. The harsh truth is that a standard job search is woefully inadequate in today's super competitive workspace. It's riddled with problems from start to finish. If you're serious about managing the direction of your career, you have to understand what's going on under the surface of nearly every conventional job hunt. You then need to adopt a strategy that eliminates all of the problems you've identified. This is what the most successful people do. The ones who never struggle to find the highest quality jobs with the most prestigious employers. They have a crystal clear understanding of their skill set and the true value this delivers to employers. They eliminate competition by positioning themselves in a way that makes them the sole candidate for any position they want to be employed to do. They identify work opportunities before anyone else has found them, often designing a new role for themselves which didn't exist before, often with an employer who isn't currently hiring new staff. Elite job searchers do things very differently, such as ditching their CVs and resumes. They realise that these documents actually hold them back from achieving their objectives, and for a whole range of reasons. I'll explain why this happens later in this series of tutorials. Now, above all, these people don't have to go through any more negative and adversarial job interviews. Instead, they meet with potential new employers on a level footing and don't endure the usual sort of combative meetings that pick apart their work history, probe for personal failings and weaknesses in their candidature. Elite job hunters build a powerful presentation pitch that grabs the immediate attention of hiring decision makers. They position themselves as highly valued and highly remunerated A-team players. They take control of every job change that comes along and effectively hire themselves a new employer whenever the need arises. Asserting agency over decisions and actions is one of the defining characteristics of elite workers. It's fundamental to a successful working life. But I'll be straight with you. Not everyone aspires to become one of the elite because they aren't prepared to consider, let alone implement, an alternative strategy to the usual one. The fact of the matter is that most job hunters are happy to stick with the disadvantages and problems that are intrinsic to an old school, dysfunctional method of work search. And my experience in recruitment and interview training tells me that these people comprise upwards of 95% of the workforce. Therefore, I recognise that my programme will only appeal to those who aspire to join the top 5% of workers who are open-minded enough to consider a very different and far better way of finding new jobs. So, throughout this series of tutorials, one of my principal aims is to provide enough information for you to decide whether you're one of my target audience or not. If you are, that's great. If not, it's maybe best that we part company and I'll leave you to take your chances with a hyper-competitive recruitment process that's riddled with problems. Now, I'm telling you this in the first tutorial so that you've got the option of bailing out right now, because at the end of the day, it's for you to decide which group you belong to, and I don't want you to waste your time on a project that you're really not interested in. Okay, that's it for this brief introduction to some of the headline features and benefits of my Vocation Master programme. Look out for the second in my series of tutorials tomorrow, when I talk about the reasons a standard job search fails almost everyone. This is a super important concept to get your head around before you go anywhere else, so make sure you fully understand the problems before you move on to the solutions. Confronting the realities of a normal job search might challenge your thinking, but I'm sure you'll find the concept interesting and informative. If you prefer to listen to training materials rather than watching or reading them, all of these job search tutorials are available in audio format. Search Job Search Masterclass wherever you get your podcasts and via my Vocation Master website, of course. And finally, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and share. Thanks for being with me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.